So after 2 games in the 2024 NBA Finals, the Boston Celtics have taken a pretty commanding 2-0 lead over the Dallas Mavericks, and while we can certainly blame the Mavs' poor shooting for making this series what it has been so far, today I want to break down some game footage here and dive a bit deeper into what the Celtics have done well and what the Mavs have struggled with in this series. So let's start with a look at Game 1 footage. Boston really worked here to stay home when Luka Doncic looked to attack 1v1 or with a switch in a pick and roll. In the 2 clips here, look at the other 4 Boston defenders. Dallas has to have not just shot making, but force rotations and find openings, which I didn't see in any of the 2 games of this series. In this clip from Game 2, you can see the theme for Dallas, which was to put Derek White in action to counter that Game 1 strategy of players staying home on Luka. Luka attacks the space and scores here. If Dallas can make one of these upcoming games close down the stretch, these are the type of looks they're going to need Luka to make. Gafford goes to screen for Irving here, which only hurts Dallas as the screen wasn't successful, and it switched Jaylen Brown onto Kyrie, and Derek White prevented the post-up. Now it leaves Kyrie in trouble with the basketball as he's got Brown matched up on him, and Irving turns the ball over. And you see, Brown guarding Irving was just such an issue for Dallas because while Derek White did play great defense in Game 2, Kyrie began to establish the drive late in the first against both Derek White and Sam Hauser, and all throughout the night, he was getting his drives to go against Derek White. In Game 2, Boston was playing with a slower tempo than in Game 1 up until the final stretch of the first quarter, but then once that second quarter started, it was a big difference in Boston's play as their tempo and quick decision-making was a key for them. Tatum has the matchup here versus Lively, drives to the right on the catch, and Drew Holiday's at the dunker spot, so PJ Washington steps up and Tatum gives Holiday the pass for 2. One of the issues for Dallas has been they just haven't seemed to get comfortable on defense or find a game plan defensively that works for them. And early on in Game 2, they were working to find out what to do defensively. In this first clip, there's a switch. They're showing early help, but then no commit on Brown's drive. In this next clip, there's a switch and Gafford takes White when he gets to the dunker spot, and Tatum goes to the drive and kick with Holiday just wide open, and Boston can win this series even easier than they are now if they stick with the drive and kick because it's killed Dallas so far. Then in this clip, there's the switch and they begin to anticipate the action, so you can watch Luka pre-rotate on this drive here. Boston began to just let Luka go 1v1 in Game 2, and they also weren't afraid to have Holiday or White show help off of particular players when they were spaced. Same way drive and cut as well as drive and kick plays were key for Boston, they will be key for Dallas if they want to make this series competitive as well. Now, between both games, Kristaps Porzingis has been the biggest X factor for Boston, and while he's been solid on both ends of the floor in each game, Porzingis' offense in Game 1 was the key, and his defense in Game 2 was the key for that game. Porzingis made Dallas pay for switching time and time again in Game 1. He was catching it in the middle of the floor constantly and simply using his height to his advantage for what felt like free buckets. In Game 2, Dallas wanted to switch Boston's big men onto Kyrie, and the fact that Boston had no issue when Porzingis got switched onto Kyrie tells you a lot about how big Porzingis' switch ability as a player and his defense truly is. Now, if you've watched this series, then you know Tatum's shooting has been terrible, as he shot 37% from the field in Game 1 and 27% from the field in Game 2. But Tatum's playmaking in Game 2 made up for his horrendous shooting, as crazy as that sounds. Here Tatum rejects the pick and roll, sees help, and kicks it to White, and White drives and finishes. Simply put, knowing the assignment isn't always about scoring the ball yourself. Quick tempo and quick decisions have been key for not only Tatum, but Jaylen Brown as well in this series. Brown gets to switch against Gafford, attacks, Dallas rotates to help, then there's a kick, swing, and Tatum is the one who gets this 3 here. One thing that stood out in Game 2 was Dallas working to recover on defense even through breakdowns. Pritchard screens for Tatum, Dallas switches, but Jones Jr. holds to show help. There's the kick to Pritchard, swing to Drew Holiday, who drives, then Washington takes it, and Green flows to White. Like shown before, in Game 1, Boston really worked to stay at home versus Luka. In Game 2, though, Boston was willing to show more help at times to funnel shots. There was no switch when Kyrie screens for Luka to keep Pritchard out of action. Holiday's guarding Green shows early help, and there's a commit on the drive. The consistency from Boston on their drives has been huge, and it's not just the work to force Dallas into rotation, but it's keeping them in it. Brown drives, Dallas helps, and there's the kick to Pritchard. Pritchard's drive forces help, kicks to Holiday, who's able to find the gap and finish for the bucket. Here's yet another example of the quick decision-making for Boston being key in Game 2, as well as just this series in general. Holiday gets it up early, hand off to Tatum with 18 on the clock and right into a screen. Holiday slips versus Dallas' switch, which puts 2 on the ball. Kyrie holds help, then it's good work by Tatum to get it right to White for 3. These last 2 sequences we're going to look at are just a perfect encapsulation of pretty much the keys that we touched on working for Boston in this series. Here you see a drive and kick from Holiday, quick and good decision to shoot it from White despite not making it. Then Boston's great defense almost forced an 8-second violation, so Luka is forced to pass, which results in a turnover. Then once again, the quick decisions from Boston as Holiday gives it to Horford. Horford gives it right back as Holiday lets it fly from deep. Then Gafford tries to get it to the screen for Irving, but Holiday stays on the assignment and forces the miss from Irving. And despite Tatum trying to take it himself and missing, Boston's stick-to-itiveness and quick decisions result in a White 3-ball. Here's the other great sequence I mentioned before. There's the solid fight from Luka defensively, but Tatum gets past Luka before Jones Jr. denies him. On the other end, Washington gets denied. White takes it up the floor slow with under a minute left. And he gets it to Brown, who goes to what's usually his weakness, his left-handed dribble, and Brown takes it right to the rim for what was the dagger of the night. After just 2 games, it's feeling like Boston has got this series in the bag. I'd love to see Dallas make things more interesting, and I'm hoping this series shifting back to Dallas can bring some more fire to the Mavs, but as soon as Pritchard hit this shot, it felt like the life was taken out of the Mavs, and it very much felt like the shot that Jordan Poole hit, ironically enough, against the Celtics that took the energy out of them in the 2022 NBA Finals. While, like mentioned at the start of the video, the Mavs' poor shooting will be looked at as the reason for this series being a 2-0 Celtics lead currently, but I do think there are more issues than that for Dallas, as just pointed out in this video here. A big thing to remember is Luka Doncic has come back from down 2-0 in the playoffs, as he did it against the Suns in the 2022 second round. And of course, Kyrie came back from down 3-1 in the 2016 finals. But this Celtics team is a completely different task for the Mavericks, and I just don't think we'll see a Mavericks comeback in this series. When the Celtics' best player has absolutely struggled shooting the ball, yet it feels like the team is able to walk right to the finish line with a win without breaking a sweat, I don't see any chance of the Mavs coming back, even though a comeback is the outcome that I'd like to see. Either way, it's felt like Boston's year all the way since back in October, and personally, I think it would take a complete or unprecedented shift in order for the Mavs to win this series. We will see though, because if you watch basketball for long enough, then you know that just about anything can happen in the NBA. I want to know what you think about the Dallas Mavericks, the Boston Celtics, or anything relating to any players, topics, or the 2024 NBA Finals down below in the comment section. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I am out. Peace.